This episode of the Poundcast is in part brought to you by Factor. Factor delivers chef-made meals that make eating well an easy thing to do. Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/factorpodcast and use code FACTORPODCAST to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code FACTORPODCAST at factormeals.com/factorpodcast to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box.
The Poundcast is in part sponsored by Mint Mobile. Say goodbye to your overpriced wireless plan and switch to Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile is here to rescue you with premium wireless plans starting at $15 a month. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network.
If you like your money, Mint Mobile is for you. Shop plans at
mintmobile.com/poundcast. That's mintmobile.com/poundcast. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
This episode of the Poundcast is in part brought to you by Louisville Vegan Jerky Company. They make Louisville Vegan Jerky. That's right. It's meatless, soy-based jerky, and you can find them at lvjco.com. And they have lots of different flavors you can choose from, such as buffalo hot wing, pepperoni pizza, smoky Carolina barbecue, and they have limited edition small batch flavors such as Nashville hot chicken, cheddar jalapeno popper, and honey glazed ham. And get this, 10% of sales of this flavor go to the Dare to Care Food Bank, which has been helping out families in Kentucky for the past 55 years. So if you order on the website and use the code word Poundcast, you get 20% off your order. Now, this stuff is bagged in the United States. It has a shelf life of 9 months, and you don't have to order it online. If you want to order it in person at stores, you can find it at places like Whole Foods and Sprouts. And just check out their website, lvjco.com. Once again, use the code word Poundcast and get 20% off your order. Talking on the Poundcast. Welcome to the Poundcast. My name is Brent Weinbach, and I'm here with Christopher Fleager.
Right here.
And for those of you who don't know, Christopher Fleager is a soundologist, a sound person, he worked on a lot of the projects I've, worked on, some of the Gangster Party Line stuff, and, Mind Jack. What, you are Mind Jack, right?
Yeah.
Poundhouse, lots of stuff. Christopher was the sound guy, and he does a lot of field recordings. He's just an overall sound engineer.
Yeah. Well, I do music
and musician, of course, musician as well, and lots of other things. I mean, you wear many hats, including a cowboy hat right now.
Yeah, and I'm not in a country western ska band. This is I'm going this double.
Well, yeah, I was curious. I saw you walk in, and I thought to myself, I know you just came from teaching a class
at UCLA.
At UCLA,
yeah.
And I was wondering if you were dressed like this while you were teaching your class.
Yes.
You were indeed. Okay, wow. And this class is on what? What's the class?
It was a field recording class.
Field recording class. Okay.
Yeah, and we've been my buddy Jonathan Snipes, who I do a lot of, he's in the band Clipping.
And Christopher works with Clipping, tours with them and so forth. And by the way, Christopher's kind of band moniker for your solo stuff is called Cooling Prongs, if anybody's...
Cooling Prongs.
Cooling Prongs, yeah. Sorry, Jonathan.
Oh, yeah. So we've been mixing a documentary using the facilities at UCLA. And that's a good way to teach the students the whole process, how we're bringing in all these field recordings that we made in Philadelphia. It's a film about trash and waste management. It's very interesting. That is probably not the best pitch to summarize it, but we spent weeks, or I spent weeks, and then Jonathan came in recording the dump, all these trash sorting sites, and we made this sound library that we're cutting and assembling.
A sound library of what?
Of
Trash sounds?
Trash sounds, yeah.
What does that mean?
We got inlet cleaning, where they go into the gutter and they put this claw in, and it goes in and cleans out the trash from the gutter.
Yeah.
Machines that go into the sewers. My favorite site was at this trash sorting place where it's a conveyor belt where people are, grabbing like, oh, okay, that's plastic, that's metal, any part that they can recycle. And it sounds so cool the way that these different materials hit the different bins. And we had, contact mics and all these specialty mics recording that whole process. And at the end of the conveyor belt is when it's all the trash that they don't pick. And it goes into this pile. And it's this beautiful sounding waterfall of trash. All these objects.
A waterfall of clunks and clanks.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Now, it's sort of it's almost hard water in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah? I mean, the hardest water.
The hardest.
Uh-huh. And it's kind of swole water.
Yeah.
It's swole out.
Yeah. Tight.
Now you were wearing this, and I'll describe this for people who are just listening. Christopher is wearing a sort of kind of wavy checkered pant. It's a sort of turquoise and kind of turquoise and I feel white, kind of whitish tinted turquoise, kind of turquoise, checkered pant, bluish, and so forth, and then a almost, I would say, tuxedo-esque shirt, blue. And what kind of tie is that? Some like sort of bow tie, kind of a southern...
A blossom bow tie.
A blossom bow tie. And his jacket has sort of a grid of sorts on it. It's kind of squares, but also more of the wavy kind of lines on it.
Conflicting grid from the pants.
It's different. It's the same color scheme, but it is a different pattern. But did you... Okay, well, a few questions here. And he's wearing a cowboy hat that is kind of in the same color scheme, too, I think. Everything's all matching.
Yeah. Bluey.
It's bluey. It's turquoise. It's turquoise. Turquoise. It's turquoise. And if you want to get technical, it's turquoise. So when you teach classes, and you teach classes at different schools.
Yeah, and I'm not, I don't have a PhD or master's. This is my buddy Jonathan's class.
Yeah.
Who I am guest lecturing.
Yeah.
But these past weeks, I've been at every class.
Okay, but now you don't normally dress like this when you go to these classes, or you do?
Oh, very good question. Oh, and one more thing. I've got these nails.
These press-on nails
are driving me bananas.
Wait, is that because you're working with strings right now?
For this documentary film, I'm doing Foley work.
Oh.
Which is when you go in and you replace the sounds of footsteps to picture.
It's when you step on film to sound like you're stepping on leaves.
Yeah.
Right? Or, what are you trying to replicate with the scratching of the nails?
There is someone in the office of this documentary film looking at the different security cameras, and they're tapping their acrylic press-on nails on the table. The sounds that you hear are not from the production footage of her. They are my nails right here.
Yeah.
So I'm keeping them on until we're sure that we're happy with my performance.
Aside from you keeping them on for work, is there a part of you that likes to have them on anyway?
No, because I wax, whole body wax except for the eyebrows. I shave my head.
Wait, you wax your head?
I shave it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you wax your head?
But it's tender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that. Have you waxed your eyebrows before? Or do you shave them?
I haven't done my eyebrows.
You've never done them ever?
I was in a music video where they they covered them up, and I was willing. I was like, I'll shave off my eyebrows. And they're,
No, you never
Listen,
know what will
no.
happen. It might grow back in a different way that you expect it. You might end up
Maybe.
having eyebrows that perhaps look like the grandpa vampire and the monsters or something like that, you know?
could be.
Or one of those characters. Or maybe you like that.
I'd be down for the project.
Would you ever want to have your eyebrows be ones that you just drew on?
Seems like that'd be a lot of work.
Sure.
But then shaving is a lot of work too.
Sure.
But if you, at least for me, shaving is very addicting.
Yeah.
I cannot go 2 days with hair on my face. It feels like dirt.
Yeah.
I want it all. I do not like the sensation of when my hair starts coming out. It drives me
If you
wild.
could get electrolysis for your whole body, including your head and your
Yes.
face, you
Oh,
would
yeah.
like it?
Oh yeah.
You do not like to have hair on your head anymore?
I don't like the way it feels.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, at first, my personality was my hair. I had this big pompadour.
Oh, yeah.
So-
You have
so-
a pompadour? Oh, I didn't know you had a
big
pompadour.
black.
Well, I didn't know you had a
Pompadour.
pompadour.
Yeah.
So you look like a tall Elvis.
Yeah.
Kind of a very tall, lean Elvis.
Yeah, hero to most.
And you
But he
were
never
from
got
Florida?
What?
You're from Florida?
Yeah, Tallahassee.
Did you have a southern accent in the past?
Yeah, it'll come out at times.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay, so let me ask you. So, all this leading to you don't dress like this normally for class.
Not for. Oh, yes. Sorry, I'm dressing like this because I'm going to shout out L.A. Wranglers. It's a line dance.
This jean company.
Trio.
Yeah. They do jeans there. They kind of pose with the different jeans.
L.A. gear
You're
merged
judging
with Wrangler.
Yeah. They got Lee's making a guest appearance right there.
Right.
At their L.A. Lee's. L.A.
Yeah.
Lee or whatever.
I do a lot of line dancing,
Yes.
and wherever I'm living at the time, I find the line dance group,
Yeah.
and I try to have a weekly
And
discipline.
you dress up a bit when you do your line dance meetings.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
You seem to have an affinity towards cowboy aesthetics.
yeah.
I've seen you wearing other Western shirts and things. Not that this is entirely a Western look, but I've seen you wear Western stuff, and you seem to like that.
yeah.
And do you like Roy Rogers and things like that?
Not. It doesn't come
Gene
from
Usher?
there.
No.
It comes from line dancing,
Yeah.
which
Have you ever been to a hoedown?
yeah.
What about Jamboree?
A Jubilee, but not a
Oh, Jubilee.
Jamboree.
And have you ever drank a mid Jubilee? And have you ever watched the show Yeehaw?
I have watched Yeehaw, yes.
Did you like that?
Yeah, Yeehaw, yeah.
No, huh? What did you ever like? You asked me if I ever watched Yeehaw.
You ever watch Yeehaw?
Yeah, hi. Yeah, I've watched it in the 80s. Yeah. So here's what I'm getting at, though. Look, I'm just sort of catching up with you here, but something I wanted to really delve into, and I've been kind of wanting to ask, is you mentioned something, and I've known you for some time now. I feel, or at least 10 years of it, probably maybe 10, 11 years or so, maybe, or about 11, I would say. Well, in my mind, I've known you for about 11 years. And it came to my attention recently that you, as a young man, at one point worked as a phone sex operator.
Operator, yeah.
And I just didn't know that about you, and I was very curious.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you about that.
Right.
So
I'm in my
you're in your what?
I'm in my 40s now.
Yeah.
So this was
19.
1920. This was in I think it was 2000 was the year.
Oh, 2000. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say it was in, so, I would, I guess that's how that works. No, I was going to, I thought you were going to maybe say this was 1920. I said 19. It was like 1920. It's about 100 years ago.
It feels like it when
I'm in my 40s now. It was about 100 years ago. It was a previous life. I was wearing different stuff back then. So you were, okay, so you're about 19.
Yeah.
And what? Okay, so how did you get into that, and why?
I post puberty, I really worked into a voice that I have a deep voice, but I think I was working it up in my.
You played into it.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
And
You know what? I hear that. I feel like I've definitely gone through phases in my teens, especially where I played into a deeper voice.
Yeah.
And why'd you do that?
I don't know how it
Did
happened.
you feel like you wanted to feel more powerful or something?
I
Feel like just a presence.
I don't
You wanted
even-
to make your presence known.
I don't remember being conscious of it. I remember speaking in class and people just commenting on my voice and not remembering anything I just said. Like, wow, you should be in radio. That voice. Wow, that voice.
Yeah.
That voice. But none of the content of what I would say would get by.
Yeah.
And I was taking voice lessons, singing lessons. My voice lessons teacher pointed this out. She's saying, like,
She said, you would do great with phone sex. Your voice. I'm thinking phone sex. No, so she was your voice.
Well, she just pointed out that, the range of your voice, you have a deep voice, but the way that you're shaping it may not be completely natural.
The format.
And so all that's to say that all my friends kept saying, like, you need to get on radio, you need to do voiceovers. And I think I was doing voiceovers at the time.
You were?
Yeah.
For what?
Had a gig at a video productions.
When you were 19?
Yeah, editing, sound.
Well, you didn't. Okay, hold on a second.
But
you were. Okay, so out of high school, you got into just sound recording stuff or whatever.
oh yeah.
And but okay, so you were doing voiceover stuff already. A voice teacher said you've got an interesting contour.
Well, she was just saying that the way the physics, the way that the shape of how your body is built, you may not be using your voice that you speak with.
Yeah.
May not be completely natural. It
doesn't. Oh, because you were forcing it to some degree,
or just tuning it like the voice that I was making. Whatever. People speak how they speak, but my voice was different then. It was.
It's not what I'm hearing now.
No.
Can you do an impression of what you sounded like then?
Not quite. It was just. Oh my.
That sounds.
It was
like
very radio.
That sounds like you.
It sounded like this.
It sounded like it. So, is this? Do I?
Oh, it was low breathy. You got it.
Oh,
yeah.
really? It was like getting in.
Yeah.
Well, so you kind of actually sound more. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, no fun. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh yeah. Well, I actually I'm a close production. I do voice editing.
Something like that.
Perhaps. Yeah. You probably maybe.
Okay. So anyway, that was going on, and then what?
But what's okay? So someone came up to me and they said, "Hey, I know you're not making.
I know you're 19. I know you're 19. I know you're just a young buck trying to record your voices.
I found this ad here for a phone sex line.
Yeah,
They're looking for
young talent
yeah,
or any talent.
I think you had the voice and the imagination for it.
Wait, hold on. Now, why do you think you had the imagination? What's that all about?
Oh, just from us hanging out and.
Why? What do you would make jokes? I
guess I don't remember being that creative though.
Okay.
And
this is somebody you work with.
A colleague,
a
classmate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Classmate. Okay.
Yeah. And so I called the line and had an interview
over the phone.
Over the phone, they asked me just general questions, what I was into, and
by into, what does that mean?
Still, I was calling this. It was this gay sex phone service. What did they call it? Fantasy acting? Fantasy. They had a euphemism for
Fantasy
what-
Friends. And you've called the Fantasy Friends Network, right? It's the Fantasy Friends Network. Everybody's heard of it.
fantasy actors, or
Okay.
but it was a gay phone sex
Fantasy
line.
Stars.
And they're interviewing me, and
Rising Stars.
my
You know
sure
what I mean?
oh
Penises. Okay.
my answers to this was like, oh well, yeah, I like computer music. I subscribe to the Computer Music Journal. I love most of what the MIT Press puts out. I'm into MIDI, but I'm into Zippy. I've been working with Zippy. I think that's really cool. Have you ever used Opcode's Max MSP? Really into that. And I was just, talking about these very
Technical things.
obscure computer music
Yeah.
interests, and I got the gig. And
They said, you know what? This is exactly what we're looking for. Is that what they said? They said, what are you into? And you said, I'm into the MIT Press. I whatever. I like electronics and electronic music and all that stuff. And they said, perfect. You're perfect. That's what they said.
I like solenoids. I like.
Okay, so they said, okay, yeah. You start work Monday.
Yeah,
Okay, so did you... Okay, go on.
at the time I had an apartment, very small apartment, but I was the only one at this apartment. Had a landline and caller ID, which worked half the time.
Question.
Oh yeah,
You got to work from home?
yes.
Okay, so you didn't have to go to a call center. or
I
something?
never met any.
You didn't even meet
Right.
anybody.
Just the phone call over the phone, got the gig.
And they would send you checks in the mail.
Yeah.
How about, did you have to fill out a W-9 or something?
Yeah.
And then you just mailed it to them or
Right,
something?
right.
You never went in anywhere.
No.
Interesting. Okay.
This episode of the Poundcast is in part brought to you by Factor. Are you ready to optimize your nutritional intake this year? Because Factor is a meal plan service that delivers chef-made gourmet meals. They're dietitian approved and ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes. The meals are fresh and fully prepared, so it's perfect for a busy and active lifestyle. I got some Factor meals, and they were all very tasty. I think my favorite of them was the smoky Gouda chicken with roasted red potatoes and Parmesan green bean, or the grilled pork chop and smoked cheddar collie grits. But they were all good. I also got the home-style turkey and gravy with potato celery root mash, roasted Brussels sprouts, and spiced cranberry sauce. I got the creamy Dijon pork tenderloin. I got the blackened salmon. And I got the Romano shredded chicken. A nice variety of meals. And the best part, no cleanup. It was so easy. Well, you can get in on the action too. Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/factorpodcast and use code factorpodcast to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code factorpodcast at factormeals.com/factorpodcast to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. And now back to the show.
So it's just, okay. And then, so how does it work? Someone calls the line and then it gets forwarded to your phone?
Routed. Yes.
And so you pick it up. And how do you know when it's a call for this?
I didn't know.
You didn't.
I would know when my mom was calling from home, when my professor was calling from school.
Wait, why did you know that?
The caller ID would work half the time.
Yeah. Half the time. Okay. By the way, in 2000, I didn't have caller ID at all.
Yeah. We're talking dial-up internet. If you
What do you mean?
had
Even?
that.
Oh no, but you didn't. This didn't even involve internet, though.
No,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I didn't even use the internet in 2000 actually. But yeah, I didn't have caller ID for a long time, and I don't have a caller ID now actually. But I had caller ID for a brief time in the 2010s or something, But anyway, so half the time, so you knew when your mom was calling, you knew when your school was calling or something. So you're in school right now, too.
yeah. When the calls, from this company would come in, it would just look like a random number. It would always be different too.
Okay. All right, let's stop. Before you get your first call, let me ask you this.
Oh, I will say that my professor would call. My mom would call. from away from home,
Yeah.
away from school, I'd pick it up. How's it going? Or say something, like, what's up, buddy? Or,
Yeah.
or not like a weasel, but just,
Yeah.
I'd have an erotic start to a conversation, and it would be a family member or a professor.
Okay. Hold on a second. So
Okay,
wait,
okay.
let's back up for a second here. Prior to this, in high school or even, okay, I mean, I guess my question is what made you feel like this is something you would be interested in doing?
Oh, the money seemed very
The money.
good.
It just seemed like, oh, I can make some decent money doing this.
Yeah.
I guess, did you have any kind of particular interest or fascination with, I don't know, dirty talk and
No.
stuff like that
No.
prior
No.
to this? No, not at
No.
all. But you had the imagination, according to your friend.
Yeah, which
Um,
I didn't agree
did you
with.
ever call lines at all prior to this yourself?
Oh, yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
you had?
Yeah.
So you kind of had an idea of what kind of stuff was talked about on these.
Oh, you got me there. I was curious about the whole process, but it was more of a study as opposed to...
Oh, you called the lines when you were gearing up to try to work for it,
Yeah.
and not just for your own interest or whatever.
No.
Okay. And why was this a gay line? I mean, what? I mean, could it have been not just anyone could call? I mean, men,
Anyone
women?
could call.
Anyone
And
called.
anyone did call.
Women did call.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, so women called for a straight experience.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I was the gay character.
You was the gay. Oh, but did this company had all kinds of characters?
I don't know much about what went on with the company. Like I didn't know.
You don't know what
any-
characters there were.
Yeah, I never spoke to anyone else.
Now, let me ask you something. How much of a character were you? You really did play a character, and did you have multiple characters?
Well, I wasn't allowed to use my name.
Right.
I wasn't allowed. I mean, there were rules. I could never meet any of these people that I was talking to. No exchange of information.
But wait a second. Did you? You must have gotten proposition though sometimes.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So did some guys sometimes say things? Did they say things like, "Hey, I'd love to meet you in person sometime. I can probably, I could probably throw you a couple bucks." And then did you ask? Now by bucks do you mean money or do you mean physical bucks?
Because that.
Because that could be the deciding factor.
Are we talking young bucks?
Yeah.
Just wanted to take a moment right now to mention that this episode of the Poundcast is in part brought to you by Mint Mobile.
Most people like keeping their money where they can see it. Unfortunately, traditional big wireless carriers also seem to like keeping money too. But you can say goodbye to your overpriced wireless plan's jaw-dropping monthly bills and unexpected overages. Mint Mobile gives you premium wireless plans starting at $15 a month.
I've been using Mint Mobile for years, and whenever I see my friend's phone bill, I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? My friends are like, I can't go to the movies tonight, Doug. My phone bill's too high. I say, just get Mint Mobile and we can all go to the movies. Come on. Another plus of Mint Mobile is that you can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan, and you can bring along your phone number as well as all your existing contacts.
And all plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. If you like your money, Mint Mobile is for you. Shop plans at mintmobile.com/poundcast.
That's mintmobile.com/poundcast. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. And back to the episode.
I know that in high school you were started to sort of become something of a gimp or something, right? In high school?
Well,
Or you were interested in gimp culture?
maybe not even culture, but I got into black, shiny, gummy latex. And I
Okay.
like that look.
Was your character, was that incorporated into your character at all?
Sure, yeah,
It did,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So you were sort of latexy on the phone too.
I was always trying to match the fantasy of the caller. So wherever they wanted to go.
I see. So if they didn't want that, then okay. So your character changed depending on what they wanted.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And Well, why were you playing the gay character, just out of curiosity? I mean, why couldn't you just be...
That was in the ad. I didn't pick that
Oh, it was
up.
in the ad.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I see. And so, okay, so now your first call, it comes to you at a bit of a surprise because you didn't know who it was.
My first call was less than a minute.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, what happened?
I pick it up. Hey.
You knew it was a caller?
Yeah. Well, not for sure, but picked up the line and I hear.
So you always kind of had to answer the phone regardless of who was calling with some sort of tone of whatever.
I would err on, answering horny to my dad over not sounding hot to a caller of this.
And by the way,
Homosexual.
where were your ideas of horniness from exactly? What was your frame of reference? What did you do to study that? Just calling a line yourself to do research?
That would come with the callers, just wherever they wanted to go. I mean, some of the calls.
No, I mean, even just your first answer, hey, or whatever. Did you just get that from what you heard when you were kind of researching?
When I called this company initially, there was a recording that came on.
Oh yeah,
and the voice sounded like
yeah,
breathy and hey, thanks for
yeah.
coming. Yeah, the business call, the job interview.
Oh, even the job
started
interview was like
sexy.
that.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
So when they were asking you questions, so what are you into? And you said it was like that.
Yes.
And you said, oh, MIT. I read the MIT press and so forth. I like MIDI, and so forth. They're going, oh yeah, what about MIDI? Do you
Tell me more about Studio Vision.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, Studio Vision.
Studio Vision Pro.
Studio Vision Pro. Yeah. What languages do you know? What programming languages do you know?
Turbo Pascal.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Turbo Pascal.
Yeah. You more of a Linux or Unix?
Yeah, Linux. Yeah, Unix. Are you more of a Linux or more of a eunuch? Are you more of a eunuch? Because your voice doesn't sound very high pitched to be a eunuch. You might be the deepest eunuch I know about. So, all right, the interview was like that.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
interesting. That's interesting.
And the interview was administrated by
By a
one of the people
veteran caller,
exactly
a veteran
Yeah.
call taker.
who actively takes calls
Six calls, yeah.
from people calling in on the line.
That's interesting though that they must have not have heard that answer a lot. Saying you're into computer music and stuff like that.
Who knows what
Okay.
kind of.
So anyway, you say
Yeah.
hey, the first person calls, you say hey, and then what?
Well, I pick up the phone, answer it, and hey. I already hear the sound of click.
Okay.
In my mind, well, okay, this kind of call.
How much you made from that?
I made $1 a minute.
So that was just $1?
Yeah.
Easy enough, I suppose.
Which
So when they say
bummed me out too, because I was like, this is the way it's going to be. Because after that call, a half hour passed by, no calls. It's like, okay, I made $1 in this
right,
half hour.
okay, so it's like, plus also, I mean, the advertisements probably say $4 a minute or something.
$4.99 per minute.
$4.99 per minute.
Yeah.
$4.99 per minute. So wow, the company's taking 80% of the money coming in or whatever.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But
And this kind of call happened a lot. That jacking on a budget, these guys calling in just like going through the like, hold on to it, buddy. You're being directed to a caller or to a, we're gonna connect you with a hot stud.
yeah.
And they're just like, okay. And then, they hear my voice and then they're
Just
coming.
all you had to say is hey.
Yeah. They're ready.
Now
They're busted.
Okay, fine. How long was the longest phone call you had?
6 hours.
6 hours. Wow.
No. 10 hours.
10 hours? Really? Well, you must have made a lot of money on that one, right? So hold on a second. You made $60 times 10, so $600 on that.
Yeah.
Well, $600 for 10 hours. It's I guess
19,
2000.
20?
I guess at 19, yeah, I mean 20. That's not bad. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you keep him on the line, or did he keep you on the line for that long? You know what I mean? Were you encouraging the phone call to last longer? Or, and is that something you would do? Is try to get the phone call to last longer?
Oh yeah. And think about these long calls.
I mean, you guys talking about life and stuff? I mean,
a lot of these calls weren't about sex at all.
right. Especially the long ones in particular.
Yeah.
What would you talk about? Just anything.
It would
MIT
be
Press.
MIT Press.
Would you really?
The new, musique concrète. I had a lot of people in marriages.
Yeah.
With women, men in marriages with women.
Oh, men in marriages with women who wanted to explore a different side to themselves.
Well, or using this line as counseling.
Oh.
Who had the money to talk for 10 hours?
Yeah. They would talk about their marriage problems?
Yeah.
Were these men not even gay?
How would I know?
Or they would just be, or they just wanted just another guy to talk to or something?
These calls would keep coming in.
I see, yeah. And, you had repeat customers.
Oh, yeah.
So would they?
I would have these same people call me.
Oh, you had repeat customers
every day.
So they would ask for you. What was your name?
I had a couple names. Armando.
Armando, really?
Val. My mom almost named me Valerie Valiant. So Val.
So, did Val and Armando have different personalities?
Well, it's more like Armando had 50 different personalities. And
did Armando have an accent?
No.
Did you ever have an accent?
I thought we were not doing that. No.
Uh-huh. And did you sometimes play a more dominant role?
Both. Whatever.
And sometimes submissive.
I would just gauge what the caller was into and go from there.
Did you ever feel uncomfortable?
The man that I talked to for 10 hours about his marital problems called me. We would talk every day at one period, and then there was a gap, and he called me to talk about his wife being in a car accident and dying. And it was heavy. Maybe I wasn't so much uncomfortable, but emotionally, it was a lot to deal with. Yeah.
But did you ever feel uncomfortable saying dirty things?
No.
Did you ever have to get really explicit?
Of course. I mean,
how did you come up with this stuff?
We talked about Foley. I have these fingernails. A lot of what I'm doing on this gay sex line is Foley work. It's sound effects for radio theater.
Is that right?
Like I had a dildo.
Yeah.
That, I would, make all the sounds and the guys would be like, okay, what I want you to do now is gargle my urine, okay? And I'd be like, I'd have some water. Okay, I got your urine. Okay. And actually on that call, I got so logistical into this. It was a fantasy, but all of a sudden I was like, wait, how are your tubes working like that? You have a boner and you're able to piss in my mouth?
Oh, yeah. You wouldn't say that.
I did.
Oh, really?
And then, but I got so into this narrative that like, wait, this isn't real. But I thought it was real at that moment. Or I was so into this reality that we have created, that it was being logical about it.
Question.
Because the tubes, if you got a penis, and you got pre-cum coming out, you can't often, for most people, you can't urinate.
Yeah.
So I was calling that out.
And they would say, hey, come on now, buddy. I didn't sign up for that. I just want to pee in your mouth and jizz in your mouth at the same time. Can I just do that? It's my fantasy. Come on, buddy. Because they were maybe Southern. I don't know.
Most of the calls were.
They were
from the South.
Listen, buddy. I don't. Yes, you're right. It doesn't barely make sense, but way to kill my boner, buddy. Come on now. What am I paying? I'm paying you good money here.
Yeah.
Is that what they would they respond that way, or would they say, you know what, you're right. Right. Forget the pee, just suck on the dick, and that's it right now. I mean, no pee, all right? I mean, how would they respond to you pointing that out?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still going to, 2000s but I remember being able to steer myself back into the fantasy. It was just an awkward.
So you'd kind of say you'd be like, yeah. Actually, this doesn't really make a lot of sense, actually, because you wouldn't be able to pee and have a boner at the same time, you knew that? Okay. Anyway, forget I said that.
Well, not even criticizing it as if it was a movie, but being in the reality, asking him, wait, you're able to pee?
Oh, so it was like that.
I thought it was, in my mind, it was real.
Whoa, that's so cool that you're able to pee and have a boner at the same time.
So many times, these fantasies that we got into, I mean, it was an improv act.
Yeah.
With all these people coming in. I would think it is like getting into a movie where you think it's real. Like there's certain movies that you can lock into and just think it's real. And that happened to me so many times.
So you really got into the characters.
Yeah. And into the fantasy.
Did you ever feel like you, talking to these men for long periods of time, you never talked to any women ever? They would call.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Just,
so they wanted some male fantasy thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they wanted a straight experience.
From
a gay character.
Yeah.
Oh, they did. They wanted a straight experience from a gay. That's what they were calling for. It was women. Maybe their fantasy was, I'm going to turn you straight, or something like that. Or that's what their fantasy was. And interesting. Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, and
okay,
I would play off that too.
Who was
because women would call in and I would say like, I love breasts, but vaginas, I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
I say vaginas are so gross.
Yeah. And then I would I would try to buy as much time from the call as I could to make them, to tease them, to.
Wow, that's interesting. And they would really try. Now, okay, did you ever, in having these phone calls, did you ever get turned on yourself?
No, never got a boner. And that I do a lot of sex work or like performance art kind of
performance art, that's what they call it these days. I'm just kidding.
Where
he does performance art kind of stuff.
I've done a lot of one-off performances where I'm a gimp.
Yes.
And I get beaten up by a real life dominatrix, pissing on me, making them lick their armpit.
Just in the name of art, that is.
Yeah, and all these times I'm loving the performance, the professionality of all of it. It's so intriguing. It's one of my favorite things, but I'm not getting a boner. Yeah.
So you never, the sound of any of these voices that you heard never made you kind of get more into it, or maybe be, aroused in any kind of way.
It just, in my mind,
saying of this a woman who's really trying hard to turn you on, to turn you straight, your character straight or whatever, that never made you?
No, in my mind, it was
purely a job.
I'm on the clock.
Yeah.
I'm doing
a
professional.
Yeah.
operation here.
Did you ever did you have repeat women customers too?
Yeah.
They would ask for you. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. And how long did you do this for? A couple of years?
Not even a year.
Not even a year.
Yeah. I the pay was not consistent.
Right.
I could not. At times, I thought I was rich. At times, I don't know for what reasons. I wasn't getting the calls.
When you were having pretty emotional talks with people?
Yeah.
Did you ever start to feel emotional at all?
Of course.
You did.
Of course.
So that part of yourself, you allowed yourself to sort of get taken by a bit, you know?
Oh yeah.
Did you start to have genuine concern for these people?
Of course.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was against the rules to have any connection with these people outside of the phone call. And I had to, if I wanted to keep this job, I was such a strong, I've always been real strong on work ethics I never, I didn't break the rules on this job. I felt terribly for a lot of these people calling in. A lot of gamers.
Was anybody kind of suicidal all along?
Of course.
Right.
Yeah.
And did you have to kind of talk people out of that?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you saved people's lives?
I hope so. Or I think I
had
did.
something to do with that?
Yeah.
You never met any of them?
No. Well, I can't even say that. Maybe I did.
Oh, really? Could you
Yeah.
say it in a zipped?
I can, yes.
Did you get burnt out on this?
It was emotionally draining with the calls.
The emotional calls are kind of what maybe took you out of it.
Yes.
Or brought you out, stopped doing
Yeah.
it because that was emotionally draining.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
so it wasn't any of the dirty talk. There wasn't any of
towards
the
the end, I was getting 5% dirty talk.
Really? Mostly just heart to hearts.
Yeah.
Wow. And
Tragedy, too.
Did they ever ask you about your personal life?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And what did you have to do? Just make stuff up, or did you talk to them about real issues?
I talked to him about real issues.
Really?
And made stuff up.
Both.
When it wasn't dirty talk,
Yeah.
when I knew that's where
Yeah.
it was going,
Yeah.
I'd be real with them.
Completely real with
them. Yeah.
So you just would they say when it got real? Did you say, okay, well, I'm actually not this. I'm actually just a 19-year-old.
Oh, I wouldn't say
How old do you work?
within the rules of the company. I am Armando all the way through.
By the way, how tall was Armando?
6'4", 6'5".
Oh, he was your height.
Yeah.
So Armando pretty much looked like you?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What did Armando wear?
A thong.
Oh, really? He wore thongs?
Well, I just came out of the shower, and I just kind of sitting on the leather couch, just stroking my cock. What do you?
Did you say that?
Yeah.
Sorry, I mean, let me ask you something. Did you think it was funny, the stuff you were saying?
Some stuff, yeah.
For example, I just came out of the shower. I'm just sitting on a leather couch stroking my cock or whatever. Did you think that was funny?
No, I was trying to be hot.
Let me ask you this. Is it rude of me to laugh at that?
Oh, I mean, context is all over the place.
Context, right, okay.
I'm just trying to create a fantasy.
It's not rude, okay.
Yeah.
Did you, did they ever say anything that it was funny to you and you had to stifle your laughter?
Oh, yeah. Well, because
I got an idea for you on that. If that was a problem, what you could have done is you could have made it sound like you were having some sort of orgasmic. Turn it into an orgasm. You know what I mean? So if they say something ridiculous like, I want to lick all the dingleberries out of your butt or something like that or whatever. I mean, I just want to pick every berry. I want to pick the ripest berry and I want to just pop them on my mouth like this, like they're fun fruits, the sun-kissed fun fruits. And then it was making you laugh or something like that. Would you go, oh, I'm going to come or something like that? You're actually about to laugh. Did you ever do that?
Yes, some of these fantasies would be,
Oh, really outrageous?
okay,
Go ahead.
You're a pterodactyl, and I'm a brontosaurus, right?
Really?
Yeah, we're coming up, okay?
Wow, dinosaur fantasy.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I mean,
You're a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and I know you've got tiny hands, but I know you can do wonders.
some of these fantasies, it was as if I was talking
Would they say, well, you're a brontosaurus, you've got that long neck? Would they say that?
Yeah.
They talk about the long neck on a brontosaurus.
Yeah. I mean,
About that.
some of these imaginations sounded like they were coming from a 3-year-old. Just okay,
Really?
Yeah. And now, bing, I make you invisible.
Really?
Yeah.
And that would make you want to laugh.
And all I could see is just your jizz on my chest. And,
Really?
And I flip you over and you take a shit.
Really?
And
that made you want to laugh.
Yes.
Did you ever, at 19, 20 years old, did you hear anything that tainted you at all at that age?
I don't think I have this kind of system where there's I don't know. I've never been like a prudish person or like it's not
Yeah, okay. So
I don't have a hierarchy or,
no, but I mean, I guess nothing, I don't mean that. What I mean is did you hear anything you hadn't heard before in a way that was maybe kind of on the darker side and that it kind of made you, maybe it added a couple of years of experience to you that you maybe weren't quite ready for or something like that at the age? I don't know, something like that.
Not any of the kinky, dirty stuff.
None of that. Maybe the emotional stuff.
Of the traumatic
Got it.
stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, look, here's what I
I
want you to
mean, the people calling me up and saying that they were going to kill themselves.
Yeah, that was heavy for a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
Okay, look. So you eventually, so you did have to stifle your laughter, and you did play it off like you were getting turned on or something like that.
Yeah.
You did do what I did as a
And
joke.
laughs came out at the time,
What?
and they were okay
What's that?
I would laugh at times, and it would be fine with. The
Oh,
call.
really?
Yeah.
So if they said, "Oh, I just made you disappear except for your semen," and you laughed at that, and they would say, "Yeah, I know, it is pretty funny." They would say that.
and then they would. Oh, I like your laugh.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So they kind of maybe they were trying to be funny a little bit or something like that because they like making you laugh or something like that. Maybe they got off on doing that. All right, look, I've got a lot more questions for Christopher Fleeger, but we're gonna wrap up the main episode. But Christopher, where are you? What do you want to promote right now?
Okay,
Look, he's a musician. I mean, this is that was a former hat of his, but he's a musician. Cooling Prongs.
Yes, Cooling Prongs. COOLINGPRONGS. Cooling Prongs on all the internet social stuff.
Yeah.
But it's a music project that I have heavily neglected, but I'm very proud of it, and it's very exhaustive music. It's not for that many people, but I think if you give it some time, something in there, it's a real. Musicians they all want to say that what they're doing is very unique, but this is something that's very difficult to define. And
he's got some collaborations with that one guy. Who's that one guy?
Kurt Harlan Larson of Information
Oh,
Society.
well, there's that, but there's also some collaborations with that other guy, the one with a lot of energy.
Oh wait, who?
I know, a lot of energy.
Hugh Hauser or
no, that one guy. A lot of energy.
Dobby?
Whatever,
Briggs?
you'll find it. No. There's collaborations with that one really just energetic guy. He's got moves and stuff.
Oh, Crunk Coco.
Oh, that's his name. Yeah.
It's Crunk Coco.
That's right.
From
Yeah.
St. Petersburg, Florida.
Right.
Oh yeah, a Nicki Minaj impersonator.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
YouTube part-time YouTube violent sensation.
Yeah.
Occasional sensation.
So you got some collaborations with him.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to promote?
What was I gonna? Yeah. I don't know if we want to cut it in, but what ties into this episode is there's a compilation called Soundtracks for Sex Work.
Yeah.
That Cooling Prongs has a track on. It's put together by the Discord and Reddit of the Rack Group Clipping, and my buddy Jonathan Snipes has a track on there. David Rothbaum has a track on there. We could play it at the end of this episode, if you want, it's got recorded calls from my time
Yeah.
as a gatefold sex operator.
Yeah, and I think maybe we should do that. Maybe we'll get into that in the end. I was going to ask you about that actually. Yeah.
And the compilation is like free to use, fair use music that cam girls can play in the background and not have to be put up for copyright.
Sure.
Actually, it's all fair use,
Yeah.
non-copyrighted music for sex workers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, thank you, Christopher Fleeger, for joining me. If you want to continue on with us, you can go to patreon.com/Poundcast. And we're going to get more into it. I'm going to ask him about the most explicit stuff that he heard on the other line, and maybe some of the most explicit stuff you came up with from your imagination, And I don't know, other kind of nutty things that might have happened, and nutty having multiple meanings there. Some of the recordings that you made, which probably was not. Well, we'll get into that. Maybe not kosher with the company, right? To record the calls.
I always got permission.
Oh, you did get permission. From the callers. You got permission from the callers. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get into that. So, anyway, patreon.com/Poundcast. You get the episodes a couple days early. You get access to all the previous extended episodes. These are extended episodes there. And there's other little tidbits here and there on there. And it's mostly ad-free. And, come check it out. If you want to watch the show on video, you can go to youtube.com/thepoundcast. You can see Christopher's stylish outfit on this episode there.
Yeah, and speaking of which, I don't have a zipper, so I'll figure out something of how I'm going to
how you're going to unzip. Yeah. But I'll let you borrow my zipper or whatever. But
appreciate that.
And look, thank you to Jack Birch for his help behind the scenes. Thank you to Ryan Kohler, who's I would call him as our producer for this episode. Ryan Kohler shot this episode and set everything up. And thank you to Chris Greider, who is hosting us here in his place. And big thank you to both of you for your help, to Chris and Ryan.
Thanks to Chicken Jessica. Just, a friend of mine.
Thank you to Chicken Jessica for just, being around too. I said everybody's name correctly just now, right?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Thank you once again to Chris Greider. Thank you to producer Ryan Kohler. And what else? I think that's it. Jack Birch. And that's that. Okay. Hey, look, we'll see you either next week. I think next week, I'm working on getting another spot to set up in. And we'll see what happens with that. But I don't know, we're just figuring this out, what's happening, with the next steps of the podcast and stuff. But we'll see you next week, or otherwise, we'll see you in just a bit when we get unzipped, all right? My name is Brent Weinbach. Show is the Poundcast. See you next time. Bye-bye.
How are you? What are you wearing? Oh, yeah. It's so wonderful. Yeah, I do. Oh, I love it. Oh, have you ever tasted it? No, I haven't. I really did that. There's nothing like it. Oh, that's neat. Would you do it for me? I'm getting so turned on. For yourself, actually. With your other hand, you know what I want you to do with your other hand? I want you to take your other hand, slide it down to your so that. Oh, I love that. Ooh. Do you like boys to suck on your... Oh, man. Oh, man. I'm gonna come and then we're gonna talk some more. Listen. I want you to take your other hand, your ass, slide it down to your You know what, honey? I'm gonna come right now. You sound so sweet and nice. You know, I can tell you're a nice person. And more than anything, I'm getting so turned on. That's what's important to me. You have to just be curious and accepting of other people. And I like you. I think you're really neat. I'm gonna come and then we're gonna talk some more. Think about me. Listen.
Staring at the swamp, at the slough that I will soon wade through. Fourier transforms of the city reflect back at me. I'll meet you in the cesspit if you show you give a